Hey, what's up everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so because they did open up an AC room, I'm going to take that, but they're not close to cleaning it, and I do have to be at Trader Joe's before 4:30. I have to have gotten everything that I need, or I'm not going to have what I need to make dinner tonight. So I'm gonna walk all the way to Trader's and walk all the way back. I don't have my backpack because it's filled up full of groceries from the other place. And so it's just a nightmare in a way, but all I gotta do is pick up one thing of meat from Trader Joe's. But is it one of them situations where I'm not going to be able to cook my meal and enjoy it without that meat? And I don't buy meat from anywhere but Trader's, so that's where I'm gonna be. So I had to leave all my stuff in the front. Hopefully it's still there when I get back, but they're not going to be done cleaning that thing until well after I come back, I expect, based on just the sequence of what they told me. So everything's good. I will have an AC room. That's the most important thing, because there's going to be some hot days over the next 3 weeks. I already see that coming. We are officially in summer, so it ain't no way on God's green earth that I'm trying to not have an AC. So she's going to allow me to take that room. It's just going to take probably another hour or two before they clean it. So that give me enough time to walk down to the local Traders and get what I need to get, and then come back. And hopefully by that time we'll be in spaces that we need to be in. Now normally I would want to sit there and just wait that out. But if I'm being honest with myself, if I do that, I may not have time to go get what I need later, depending on how long it's going to take for them to get me back in there. So it's a unique situation, but it's worth it to me because I definitely am not eating my dinner without that meat, not even for a day. So yeah, that's what's going on here, man. I got just enough paper towel, hopefully, to carry me over as I sweat all the way there, sweat all the way back. It's not that hot today. I don't think it's going to get over 80 degrees. But for me, it's all about just getting my steps in. I got my water with me. So I'm rocking. But it's been a good day, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the NBA that I've been talking about on my channel. So those videos will be uploaded. Actually, one of them I haven't uploaded yet, but I'll get around to it. And yeah, man, I've already been walking and doing my thing. Like I said, I went to Target, as you guys saw if you watch those videos. So my day has already been underway for hours. I slept well last night at the motel. Made another playlist. Of course, I did not do the art for that or anything. I haven't listened to it, but I definitely like the music that I put together on the K-list. 416, I believe, is the number. Actually, it sounds more like a delete CD, but I did name it a K-list. There's a distinctive difference, and this one sounds more like a delete CD than a K-list, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep it as a K-list. It wouldn't be the first time I've done that at all. So yeah, man, that's what I've been doing. That's what I did yesterday. I slept after I left, after that video that I made outside of the motel while I was waiting for them. It was only like a 10-minute wait. I made a little video, came in the house, and after I unloaded, I just said, man, do I want to go back out there and walk around? I decided to go to sleep for like 3 hours. I was out cold. After that, I woke up and got myself a burrito, and I forgot to take the sauce off a burrito, so that means it had some dairy product in the sauce. So that did not bode well for myself last night, but I was able to deal with it. And yeah, man, that was exactly how that went. Made the playlist, showered, and got some sleep. Enjoyed my sleep. Woke up and made my way over here, man. And she told me they didn't have any AC room. I accepted that, but I knew it was gonna be hot, so I was praying that something would open up, and it did. So that's where we at. That's the timeline of how things have gone. So I've been very happy. Quiet rides to and from the hotel. Good rides, and everything is as it should be, so long as my stuff is still in that lobby when I get back. But the cleaning guy told me he would watch all of that stuff, and so that's what's up. And so yeah, man, we'll make it work, man. We'll make it work. I'm very thankful that God gave me an opportunity here with this room. And it's a Sunday, so it can be a little tricky. If I'm not mistaken, the only time I wasn't able to get a room was on a Sunday. So I'm very thankful that this Sunday came around and I was able to get a room. It makes for a really smooth day for me so far. So yeah, man, I haven't really seen much. Actually, you know what? That's not true. I did pay attention to some things on Instagram that was, really talking about what's going on with the Iran and American and Israeli back and forth. You can call it a war. I guess at this point we're considered at war. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but I believe it's headed there very soon. And America bombed Iran, and then Iran came back and bombed Israel in response to us bombing them. It's tricky. It's very tricky because what's the difference between this situation and maybe like the Gulf War or Afghanistan or any of that is social media. Social media is in play now. So as to where we were all getting our news and our positions that we take from the media, you got a great deal of society now that's awakened to the understanding of what's going on with the media being compromised, thus the government being compromised as well. And we're talking to one another, we're communicating with one another, telling the truth, the actual truth about what is going on. So in the presence of that environment, what the Iranian government actually has on their side is the court of public opinion. America and Israel is understood by a good portion of us to be the guys who are doing the horrible things that we're seeing with this genocide. It's already understood, such and such and such and such, that I've already discussed here. So you look at Iran as the team of government officials who are not compromised by Israel, who are not doing things in ridiculously harmful ways for children and all different types of stuff, as the people who are being bullied for standing up for the right thing. That's the public opinion that they have. And as people continue to be enlightened to the truth and the facts of the situation, you're going to get more and more of the positivity from the court of public opinion. They're fighting an apartheid, racist regime in the state. And a compromised American government that needs to be held accountable, if not overthrown. Like, it's understood once you start digging into facts who the good guy is. So what Iran is starting to run into is when you want to bomb America, because of the me mentality of a lot of people in the West, as long as you don't harm me, we continue to support you. Now, once you start bombing us, even if you're on the right side of things, you lose the court of public opinion in the West. You could bomb Israel because we can't stand Israel, but if you bomb Los Angeles, you're gonna lose everybody if you're Iran. You see what I'm saying? It's just how this thing is set up. Not to say that there aren't innocent people in Israel that don't deserve to be bombed, or that everybody in Los Angeles just supports the right side of things. Clearly, there are people here that don't care nor support what's right in this situation. It's not about that. It's about just the PR nightmare and the lack of support that you're going to get for doing things the right way when you don't do things the way people perceive would be the right way. There's a lot of support here for Iran. There's a lot of support here for the resistance to genocide and whatever that looks like. For Yemen. Yemen is some of the most loved people on earth right now because of their position on this situation. I don't even think they know how much love they have amongst people who are aware of what's going on. They're the people's heroes. And so if they decide to bomb civilians in the places where their enemies are from, then all of a sudden they lose all that support. And all of a sudden people are saying, well, you may love us, but you killed my cousin in response to this genocide. So F y'all and F the genocide. Like, that's what they run into. I don't know how much that matters to them, but that's the position. That's what it looks like from an American perspective, is that as long as those who are enlightened here are not being targeted in response, we can always, from our position, support the resistance. But the problem is, in fighting war, those who are shooting at you are related to people who support you in this scenario. So when you bomb a military base, you may kill somebody who's related to someone that is really adamant about you guys succeeding. And so they're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't position. And this is what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago in regards to Israel doesn't have that problem because they don't give a damn about that. It's for no other reason than they just don't care. They will kill children. They will kill innocent people, and then they will stand and with a stone face and lie about their position, and then proceed to tell everybody that the person they're doing it to is the bad guy, and won't blink. And that's how their psychology is wired. And those who they have control over will also apply that same psychology to their positions. You saw Donald Trump do it a couple days ago, getting on stage congratulating Israel and saying, now that I've bombed Iran, it's time for peace. And those things don't even go together. Clearly you're not speaking from your own position. You're speaking from the Israeli position, because they're the ones that do weird stuff like that. And you're speaking, and it's almost, to me, and I've always had this in the back of my mind, but to me it's almost like some of the people who are caught by the balls by the Israelis are crying out from behind their eyes in the most subtle ways that they do not support this. There was a lady who got in front of a board meeting of some sort, speaking on behalf of Israel, and had a fraudulent slip very recently saying that Israel has committed war crimes. And then realized what she said and then proceeded to say Iran. But that fraudulent slip, to me, and looking at her body language, it wasn't fraudulent at all. She was saying it on purpose. And she knew that she could fall back on the guise of it being a fraudulent slip. But what it really was her crying from behind her eyes, saying, yo, this is my version of protest. They got me by the balls, but somebody has to do something about this. And I've been seeing different subtle ways that show me, someone who's looking for that type of thing, that it's there. And Donald Trump is the same way. You proceeded to say you bombing these people, and then they say it's time for peace? No. When Donald Trump is speaking on behalf of Donald Trump, you see him say stuff like, us bombing the people of the Middle East was the dumbest decision we ever made. He was speaking on behalf of Donald Trump. When he's speaking on behalf of Israel, he's talking as if lies are the truth, truths are lies, and as if your eyes didn't see what you saw. That's how they present their nonsense to the world. And so you can always tell when a person's speaking versus when they're speaking on behalf of Israel. And I want people to pay attention. Pay very close attention. Look for what it is I'm telling you I'm seeing here. Because these people who are speaking on behalf of Israel, as I keep telling y'all, they are caught by the balls. And that is not a position anyone wants to be in. That is a position that no one wants to be in. That's what I want people to understand. No matter how much you see these people supporting Israel, what drives them to support Israel is the fact that Israel has leverage on them. And that leverage forces them into spaces they don't want to be in. And when you're in a space, especially if you're a person of power, that you don't want to be in, when somebody has leverage over you that you can't do nothing about, your ego is going to display some resistance somehow, even if you don't want to. The ego is going to be saying, man, in the moment I get a chance, I am going to hurt whoever's doing this to me, because they put me in this position to not be able to speak for myself, to not be able to display my strength, to have to speak in a space of cowardice, to have to speak in a space of hypocrisy when what is being seen goes against that for which I say. It makes me look like a fool. I hate this position, and I hate the people who put me in this position. That is the position of a person who reaches for immense amount of power, not being able to speak for themselves. You don't want to become a president or the head of the FBI or any of that to be held by the balls by another group, whether they're right or wrong, whether they're in or out as it pertains to your morality or not. You don't want to have to be in that position. It's not a desirable thing to be in. You're trapped, and you're a person who reached for the most so that you could put people in that position, not being in it yourself. The psychology of all of that shows me, just the position itself shows me that there's always going to be some sign of discomfort, fidgeting, resistance, something that displays the position that this is not what I want to be in. This does not represent what I would choose. My thing is different than the thing I'm saying, and I don't like that position. Look for that in all of these individuals, because I promise you, in their own subtle way, they're doing their very best to either show that or not show that. But it's probably bleeding through somehow if you're looking for it. And I'm seeing it in a lot of them. A whole lot of them. You got people like Bernie speaking out of both sides of his mouth, because I guess that's what his position is nestled comfortably to be able to do. He's already expected to be a resistance to anything that would otherwise harm individuals, but he's still caught by the balls by Israel. So he's going to say Israel has a right to defend themselves, but he's also going to say Israel's wrong for committing genocide and not use the word genocide. But it's like, he's speaking out of both sides of his mouth because he can, as it pertains to what he's expected to be versus the position that he's forced to be in. And the thing about it for me is the AOCs of the world, who are out of position of power. Their person is not in office. Anybody who's watching this knows that both of these sides are controlled by the same people, right? But what you end up finding is that it's like a microcosm of what you saw from the New York mayoral debate, where they're all trying to speak as if who loves Israel the most, who can kiss the Jews behind the most. That is the overall position of both parties. That's not just what we see in the mayoral race. That's what you're seeing all of these politicians do. They all want to be who's controlled by Israel, who's favored by Israel. That's who they want to be. And as a result of them being that way, you see how they're operating in a way that says, I'm not in office right now. What the people who are in office are doing is wrong. But when they get in office, what do? The same thing those people are doing. And that's what I'm seeing from people like AOC and Bill Clinton. They're coming out essentially condemning what Donald Trump is doing. But when they're in position, they do the same thing. Why? Because they're caught by the balls by the same people. And that's exactly what's happening there. They're caught by the balls by the same people. And so as we look up and start looking at what the Democrats are doing, don't be fooled by them, because both sides are controlled by Israel. Both sides are not only paid by AIPAC, but likely have their secrets hidden on behalf of themselves, doing what AIPAC is telling them to do. This is what you're seeing. And all the different stuff that trickles down from that. Your little this mayor out here who's anti-Trump. He hates Trump. That dude, he ain't no better than Trump. He's trying to get in office. He is more or less signaling to Israel, don't let him be in charge. Let me be in charge. I will be a better spokesperson for you. What did Joe Biden say? Nobody's done more for Israel than me. Nobody's, because they all are trying to be the chosen lapdog of the chosen ones. You have to understand that's what your political situation, that's what your political system is all about right now. In the modern times, who is favored by Israel? That's what it's all about. It ain't about nothing else. Which one of us does Israel love more? Which one of us does Israel trust more? Which one of us can be the ones that are doing Israel's bidding? And we're fighting for that position. I'm telling you, that's what it is. It ain't deeper than that. That's all it's about right now. It ain't about nothing else. No other situation takes more precedent in these politicians' minds right now than making Israel happy. That is the most important thing to this country right now. I don't give a damn what it looks like. I don't care how they fight. I don't care how they try to moonwalk away from them and say, oh, we don't appreciate what Israel's doing. They're lying. They all want to be the chosen lapdog for Israel. They want to have more power under Israel than the other side. That's all it's about. It ain't about nothing else, man. And when you look at it through that lens, you know exactly what you're looking at is that. It's going to add up that way. And I'm telling you, man, genocide, this ICE stuff, all of it is together. It's all under Israel. The same people who are trying to take people off the streets and all this different stuff for not having paperwork, they are being trained by the same people who are committing the genocide in Palestine. IDF is training your police officers. IDF is training a lot of these officials who are putting hands on people. They're training these people. They have contracts with the police. That's what I'm telling you. This is the United States of Israel. It is not America anymore. It don't own itself anymore. And the more our people, common folk, become aware of that, the sooner we can actually do what we need to do to take our country back. But as long as people are in the dark about that, or thinking one side has more power than the other, or thinking because the other candidate didn't get in office, so now this is happening, those are people who did one or two things. Either they were not aware of what was going on while their chosen candidate was in office. They weren't listening to pro-Palestinian protesters telling them that their regime was killing people, sending billions and billions and billions of dollars in bombs over to Israel to commit genocide. Or they didn't care. And they were just interested in their side winning regardless of what happens to people elsewhere. But the bottom line is, those are the same people telling all of us, in a lot of cases, see, you voted for this other guy. Like that other guy is no better than the person that you were trying to throw in there. They were going to do the same thing. They already proven that they were doing the same thing. This started with Democrats in office. And it's carried forward with Republicans in office. It started years before this. So to blame Donald for the genocide is you not paying attention to the timeline. He's just carrying forward what Democrats have already been doing for over 2 years. Okay? And so if you just look at it that way, then it tells the story of who you cannot trust, which is literally both sides. Obviously, you can't trust both sides. Donald's doing Israel's bidding for this genocide. Biden was doing Israel's bidding for this genocide. They may have different philosophies once they get in power, Democrats and Republicans. Democrats are a bit more pandery to people of color. They're a bit less hands-on as it pertains to the demonstrations that they do. The Republicans are. They want to be more hands-on. They want to, make examples out of people because of their skin color and all types of other racism that's driven by the pride behind racism. Democrats are a bit more subtle with it. They're not trying to do it loud. They deported even more people, but they didn't do it in a way that makes it a big freaking deal out here for everybody to be seeing all types of horrible stuff to happen, and they do it more and more covert. The difference between Democrats and Republicans, based I can see, Democrats care about being seen as not racist. Republicans take pride in people seeing them be racist. That's the difference. It's a Christian-driven, racist, political party. Christian-driven. But not Christian as it pertains to driven by the ethics of Christ, but driven by the ethics of Zionist white supremacy Christianity, which actually, if you know Christ, is the Antichrist in every way. Every single way. So both sides are evil, they're just a different flavor of evil. And both sides think they can define the word evil as they see fit. Or diminish what evil is, hiding behind the guise of legality that is written in the life driven by evil intentions. It's still evil. Whether you want to call it that or not, whether you feel it that or not, whether you're going to say it's that or not. And I'm proud to say that I ain't vote for neither one of these people. And I don't think I voted for Biden when he first came in office. I don't think I voted at all that year. And second, and Trump, I definitely did not vote for, nor Kamala. I think the last time I voted for a president was probably Obama, and he wasn't no better. He was just a flavor of propaganda that was pointed in our direction, my people's direction, from which to believe in, and ultimately push the Democrats in office so they could serve Israel once again. It's always about serving Israel. It's been about serving Israel the whole time, y'all. That's what I've come to understand. They were all doing Israel's bidding the whole time. The war in Iraq was driven by Netanyahu telling us that they had weapons of mass destruction. It was him that was telling us that. I was too young to know that, and certainly too far in the dark to be aware of that. But it was his suggestion that we go over there looking for weapons of mass destruction. That was his phrase. That was what he told us. And then we proceeded to go over there doing all of that. We didn't find nothing. There was never nothing to find. Just like it ain't nothing to find in Iran right now. They don't have nothing. And so that's what I want to tell people, man. It's a different day now because the presence of social media allows for people to get the truth, the facts, from people who are not compromised, who don't have skin in the race, who are driven by things that don't have anything to do with political power and financial gain in some cases. People who are driven by humanitarian interests and the spirit of fairness, in the spirit of righteousness and what have you. Those are the people who are doing homework in their little corner of the world, in their little living room, telling us what's going on. And then furthermore, you get to weigh that against people who are in these situations, in these places, with their camera in their hand, just like I'm holding mine, showing you what's going on in their environment as it's happening. So it's like media is being debunked. Their lies and the things that are being, the propaganda machine is being weighed against what we're seeing in real time. And that's a tool that we never had in the past. And I'll tell you the truth, if the Zionists had any sense, they would have never let this tool become about. If they knew what was good for them, if they were as perfect of a planner as they want all of us to think they are, we would have never had camera phones, internet, or any of that, because that would get in the way of what ultimately they're trying to do, which is control the court of public opinion while genocide is taking place. It's their fault that they let this stuff into action. It's their fault that I'm even holding the camera in my hand right now. They wanted to benefit from so many different platforms that they created the same platforms that are undoing them. Meta platforms is where I get most of my information from these truth tellers. They can't control the stuff they own. That should tell them something about themselves right there. They control these platforms, but they can't keep the truth from coming out, even though it means so much to them that people believe their lies. And so for me, I just look back and I say, man, I'm not one who fears the devil. I respect that everybody can be tempted by him. Everybody can find themselves in bad spaces where they doing his deeds and all that. But at the end of the day, good is the winner of the story that we're in right now. Good is the winner of the story we're in. And so as long as you stay on the side of good, you're going to see fruit from that. You may make mistakes, you may do this or that, but at the end of the day, if you stay on the right side of history and treat people properly, history will be kind to your story. Even if people are able to lie about who you were for a time, eventually, especially with the tools that are available to us now, the truth will come out. People say all the history is told by the victor. Yeah, but the victor can't control some of the things that were outside of his scope from which to control. The earth is moving. People are leaving imprints behind about the truth in situations that they can't control. It's leaving behind breadcrumbs from which to find what it is that they've hidden. They don't behold the world in the vastness that it is as well as they think. So they can write in their books whatever they want in regards to lies. But the environment holds these breadcrumbs. Stories passed down through generations tell the stories of outcomes. People buried evidence with their loved ones of circumstances that have been lied about. And as people continue to dig up old artifacts, you're finding that truth attached to those mummies or what have you. So it's like those who wrote the story about what it is that we understand, they only could control what they can control. And if they were too arrogant to understand that there was more to what it is that they were in than what it is they could control or behold, they would have understood that they couldn't suppress the truth fully, just by writing in a book something that wasn't true and making it so that everybody believed it, however they do. Because people pass stories down. And so we're seeing the truth that was lied about, that was written by the victor in untrue ways. We're seeing that history start to be unfolding, and we're seeing a lot of what it is that tells us the truth start to be placed in a way that allows for us to receive that truth. People are starting to see the pairings of circumstances and things. That's what Hebrews to Negroes is all about. It's displaying the similarities of different people who were far away from one another, who never knew one another, that used to be tied to one another in the biblical days. They share certain similarities that we could pair together with one another and see the imprint. Folklore stories that they passed down generations and generations aligned with folklore stories from those other people 7,000 to 8,000 miles away. That showed they were once a people. That showed they once understood certain things that we'd long forgotten. It showed that it wasn't what the people who wrote the story, who won the race, said it was or what have you. The victor was a liar. And here's how you know that to be the case. So I tell Israel the same thing. You can do whatever you want with the media, bro. That's just a microcosm of what's happening to you now. Truth is still everywhere in the places you do not control. And as you don't control it, the truth is being spread. And as the truth is being spread, people are being enlightened. As people are being enlightened, resistance becomes alive. And so that's what I'm telling everybody. You cannot commit genocide, control the media, control governments, and then think you got everything sewed up. You don't have nothing sewed up. You don't have nothing sewed up. God is real, and because of it, the truth is still going to be revealed about all of the different things that are being done in the dark. And now there's more breadcrumbs and imprints, so to speak, than ever before with the advent of the internet and everybody having a voice from which to spread the truth and lies. And so that's really what it is, man. I want people to just stay focused on what you're seeing here as it pertains to what we talked about. Stay focused on what you're seeing here, because there are a great deal of people compromised who are crying from behind their eyes screaming, hoping that somebody will see that they don't align with this, that they're caught by the balls and they're cowards and can't do nothing but be in a space from which to regurgitate what is being told to them to say. I don't feel sorry for those people. I don't think you should feel sorry for those people, but there is data that you may need to retain based on what it is that they're trying to display. And you may be able to predict how best to maneuver if you identify these things in these people. Because I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump specifically, I don't know that he's not trying to plot a move to get out from underneath Israel fully. That's what I want to tell people. His ego, his driven ego, is not wired for what he's being forced to do right now. And eventually, I think that the way that I see him, he's going to end up crashing out. He's going to end up crashing out on Israel if they keep on thinking they can use him as a puppet. I don't know what it is they're using over his head. It may be effective, but certain people you can't, there's nothing, including the destruction of the entire world, that's going to be able to keep them in spaces that they're not wired for any length of time. I am one of those people, so I know those people exist. We can stay in spaces that we're not wired for a certain amount of time, but eventually we just crash out. And that's what I want people to understand. That's exactly what I want people to understand. And I reveal that about myself, not as something that I'm proud of, but something that I give someone the inclination that there are people out there who really cannot be compromised forever. They may be able to do it for a time, but there's going to be a day where they've had too much of that, and whatever it is that you're holding over their head, they're going to not care anymore and let you use it. They're going to let you use it. And that's what I want people to understand about being compromised. There are a lot of people, particularly in this political space, that may believe that they're strong enough to stay under the thumb of others for enough time or whatever. But there are some people who are not self-aware enough to know who they are. And you might be thinking you could hold something over their head for a long period of time. Even if it's effective for most, you ain't going to be able to do it to their minds. They're going to tell you to use it. They're going to tell you to just go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. And I have a feeling that our president is that type of person. I have a feeling. And so that's what I would tell anybody who's paying attention. It's like, look, man, y'all think y'all got these people compromised. And most of them you may. The sex secrets, the threat of nuclear war, the threat of hurting their families, the threat of combination of all three. It may be effective for most. BDL 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.